What is this metal spring contraption with cords attached found in an older lady's personal effects? This is a photo from a friend, and I do not have the item physically on hand. My first thought was a bodkin, but it looks much too wide to fit through a casing. Any ideas? It's a Victorian thumb-sucking stopper. It is placed over the child's thumb and tied around their wrist so they can't easily remove it. In the second half of the Victorian era, wire extruding technology was famously embraced by the barbed wire industry, which needed a cheap and durable material to keep cattle at home on the range. That made sense, but the rust on one of the thumb-sucking stoppers shows how ill-suited that same wire was for young toothless tads. Basically, it's a Victorian torture device. What is this thing, approximately 6 inches in length, made of metal, at least about 70 years old, and separates into 3 pieces? A family member has had it for a long time and doesn't know anything about it. The text on the long pieces appears to say, "Use only genuine Kirbigrips." Does anyone have a clue what this could be? It's a Kirbigrip curl maker, a hair curling tool made in Birmingham, England by the Kirbigrip and Company Limited, roughly late 1930s. Slip a hairpin on the curl maker, then a wisp of hair, a quick twist, then you get a perfect curl. What is this Pyrex branded glass thing found among some glassware while clearing out a china cabinet? It's about 6 inches wide at the top, 4 inches at the bottom, and 4 inches tall. It's imprinted Pyrex Corning, New York, USA. But that's it. The best I can come up with is maybe it's meant to hold a votive candle to warm something that would be placed on top of it. Someone else suggested it's part of a percolator, but I can't confirm either theory, and no amount of Googling will turn up anything that looks like this. Does anyone know what this would be used for? It's the base of a 1970s Pyrex uncandle captain's lamp, a floating candle set by Corning. Fill it with vegetable oil and float little discs that hold wicks in it. Putting a layer of colored water under the oil was far out. What is this bronze antique that resembles a vase with the bottom missing? It's just over 6 inches or 15 centimeters in height, and I know it is at least 90 years old and is from China. I think it may be an incense holder because it does have 2 small hollow protrusions that could hold incense, but these are also open on the bottom. The sides of the bulbous part have a floral and geometric design added to it. Any ideas? It's an antique pitch pot, a traditional Chinese game that requires players to throw arrows or sticks from a set distance into a canister. The game had originated by the Warring States period of China, probably invented by archers or soldiers as a pastime during idle periods. The game began as a game of skill or a drinking game at parties. Initially popular among elites, it spread to other classes and remained popular in China until the end of the Qing dynasty. During this time, it also spread to Korea, Japan, and Vietnam. What is this wooden object being worn or held by a reporter on Al Jazeera News? We were watching Al Jazeera this evening, and the reporter, Hussein al-Bukaiti, was wearing or holding this object. The top is at least 10 to 15 centimeters long, and it looks ceremonial as it is well decorated and varnished. I assume some sort of handle. Anyone got a good idea? It's a jambia, a type of dagger with a short curved blade and a medial ridge that originated from the Hadramaut region in Yemen. They have spread to other countries in the Middle East, to other countries in the Arab world, and to parts of South Asia and Southeast Asia. Men typically above the age of 14 wear it as an accessory to their clothing, and every man in Yemen has to have one. A significant part of a jambia is its hilt. The Saifani hilt is made of rhinoceros horn, which can cost up to $1,500 per kilogram. Poaching of black rhinos for this purpose has led them to become critically endangered, and it is used on the daggers of wealthier citizens. Other jambia hilts are made of different types of horn, wood, metal, and ivory from elephants and walrus. Apart from the material used for the hilt, The design and detail are a measure of its value and the status of its owner. As I am Yemeni, I had my jambia when I was 8 years old. My parents gave it to me and I wore it to a traditional festival with my family. To sum up, jambia is a traditional and historical symbol for Yemeni people. What is this thing found in a box of old memorabilia, owned by a 95-year-old lady? She grew up in New York, but lived all over, including internationally. It seems like something would fit inside between the two halves. The two halves line up with each other, but they don't snap together or fit inside each other. About 4.5 inches or 11.5 centimeters long and narrow only 1/8 inch deep. Maybe made of silver and tarnished, but we're not sure. Grandma is a very sharp old lady with a really great memory, but she is stumped on this one. It could be a much older item since she does have some older things from her family. What do y'all think? It's an antique comb case. I found another one that looks like a match and stamped 1298 Denmark. One side is for the handle and the other protects the teeth. What is this thing made of stainless steel, with various metal blade-shaped pieces riveted together? My uncle sent me this picture and said it belonged to someone who worked at Raytheon. Around 10 by 4 inches, it could be an electrical component, with no visible writing other than a number 3 written in Sharpie. Google image search didn't turn up any exact matches. Any ideas? It's a section of feed chute from a 20mm ammunition loading system. Details like the black end with the bullet shape to it, the square look of each link, the way the rivets are done. Another industry would have its own style of design. This looks like there are stiffening arms to keep the curve radius large at this point, so it doesn't fold over too sharp. What is this stone object with a bronze ring handle? Approximately 22 by 13 by 2 centimeters, and is at least 80 years old. I tried Google, but flat stone rectangle gave no real answers, and adding ring got me a lot of jewelry. Does anyone know what this thing actually is? It's an antique bed warmer, made in Germany in the 18th to the 19th century. It's the predecessor of the hot water bottle. It was placed in or on the oven, and after some time it had stored enough heat, it was placed in the bed to preheat it. What is this thing found plugged in on a bedside table of a fancy old hotel in London? The cable looks like it's from the 80s, and no buttons or any on switch. I have no clue what this could be for. Does anybody know what this is? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.